Kaine, how are you doing today?
Couldn't be better.
Fantastic. We're talking rapport building with you, particularly at a listing appointment. And I think so critical. If we don't have positive rapport with someone, almost everything else we talk about doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, it lands in a difficult kind of a way.
For sure.
So at a listing appointment, and I know a lot of the time you do a two-step listing appointment.
Try to.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. So the first listing appointment, what's that really all about? The first step of it?
The first step of it. However you've got the lead, whether that's a call-in or a referral or what have you, I like to treat the first appointment as a fact-finding mission. Literally going into, I've heard you say, I think over the years, almost like the doctor trying to sit down with the client or clients and ask lots of questions to find out who they are, what they're about, what their situation is, where they've got to be, why they need to sell. So we, as the agents, can be in a position to best diagnose or best put together the right package of service to get them moving.
Yeah, fantastic. So a fact finding, which clearly is your questioning skills, it's your listening skills to, feeding that back, making sure you're on the same page. I think the other thing is that's the rapport building phase as well.
For sure.
That they're almost looking forward to the second meeting, given how great the first meeting was, and you've maybe shifted that little bit of anxiety that they might have to now it's calmed down and saying, hey, I'm feeling really confident that it was great to have Kaine come out. That was a great recommendation, and they're looking forward to the next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what are some of the strategies that you use in that first meeting to build positive rapport?
So before I would get to the home or the property, or if they were coming into the office, I would have made sure that I've said to the person that I've pre-framed to the client or the clients that the first catch up, and I'll probably use the word catch up so it sounds less intimidating than a meeting.
Yes.
Is about me trying to help you and find out about the situation, and that we won't be going into price and comparable sales, and just so they're understanding that it's not a listing presentation.
Great.
Now, clearly, if they, as you said to me earlier this morning, if they said, "Hey, we've been referred to you. We need to get our property on the market, and you can come and see us," that might be a little bit different. But
correct.
That's probably a smaller percentage of the time.
Yeah. Or you've had them in your pipeline for the last 6 months. You've had those couple of catch-ups, and it now is time to do the listing appointment.
The detail.
Yeah. Fantastic. And one of the things I know that you talk about is truly being interested in their situation. So really, that first meeting, how do you set it up? How do you walk in? You've already mentioned it on the phone. You pre-framed it. So now we're face to face.
It's. I know a lot of people say that you shouldn't necessarily walk through the home first, which I don't disagree with that comment. But if that's the way that it naturally goes. I find rather than walking straight through their home and sitting down on the couch or at the dining table, that can be very meeting orientated. Everyone puts their goodies down and it's sort of right into question time. Rightly or wrongly, I find that sort of walking through their home and asking them if they'd like to take us through the home, and some people will and some won't. Yes. But even then, you're just picking up little clues as to who they are and what their personality is about. And if they take you through the home, which most people that have renovated a home or built the home
are pretty proud of it.
So they want to tell you the idiosyncrasies about every room and every pile of carpet and where the aircon is and why they put that duct there and that heating unit there. That's great. And you are listening to them talk and you asking them about their fixtures and finishings and where they got it, and you are just naturally asking them questions about their home, so they're talking to you about it. So by the time you actually get down to we'll call it the rear of the house, and you might be sitting in the lounge room or at the dining table, you might have had 15 to 20 or 25 minutes of actually talking to them and getting comfortable with each other throughout the rest of the house.
Yes, yeah, without being that mode, you're in this mode.
Yeah.
See, I think that
it's like a precursor.
Yeah, most definitely. The thing that I like about this is, given you've pre-framed, this meeting is not about price, it's not about how to market your property, it's about understanding about you and where you're at and what your situation is.
Completely.
You're not forced into that mode. I mean, this is the important thing. If you do a one-step listing appointment and you do the tour up front, it will become about the property and the price.
Yes.
But you've already pre-framed that out of the conversation, which is beautiful.
Yep.
So now it's still walk around, understand the home. You're in that neat mode of building a nice soft level of rapport. You're sitting down with them now. They're not expecting you to come out, so what do you think it's worth?
Correct.
They're actually still expecting you to ask them some more questions, so you can go back and prepare for it in terms of second step.
Which may well there just be a point of difference versus agent B or agent C.
Great.
And if they do then go into, now that you've seen the home, and some often will say, okay, now that you've seen it, what do you think? And you say, I love the house.
Yes.
And there's that awkward pause, and they're thinking, yeah, but how much is it worth?
Yep.
And then you say, remember, now that I've seen it, I've taken all these notes, and we're going to come back to you with that tomorrow or Wednesday night or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, great. So
again,
straight away you say, here's the next here's the next meeting. Would you then say, there's a couple other things I'd love to go through with you now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're sitting down and you are getting into, you've heard about the home, so you're getting into perhaps their general plan and why they want to sell, and their motivation and their pressure points, and where they're moving to, and everything that, again, is giving us the intelligence or the key points to go back and put together our package of marketing or sales strategy.
So would you be asking them any preference in terms of method of sale?
All of that.
You'd be going through all of that?
Yep. And when they last sold, how was the experience? Who did they sell with? Did everything go to plan? Do they have any wishes or wants that they would like to see that perhaps didn't occur on the last one? So they're all, it's just throwing questions around left, right and centre, picking up bits and pieces, and often you'll hear if they auctioned in Narnagoon in 1987 and that didn't work, that they might have an issue with that method of sale, so take it in mind. Yeah,
most definitely. And you're taking notes as you're going through this?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So if I was with my colleague Matthew, we'd be both have a folder or iPad or both and taking notes. And there's no question in my mind over the years of being in this business that I would have won listing appointments just on the fact that when you've asked the question, when you got the listing, what was 1 or 2, 3 reasons why you chose to list with us, I've heard people regurgitate and say, you seem to take an interest in our home and you took notes.
Yeah.
Now, whether you did write notes or did not, or how many notes you wrote, they don't get to see, but the fact that you were...
So you take an interest in the home, you take an interest in me, where I'm moving to, what the journey is, and you've really understood that first before you moved into it.
Yep.
I mean, this whole discussion really comes through with that doctor line you mentioned earlier. Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice in the medical profession.
Yep.
So you're really in that mode of diagnosing in this first meeting, building rapport with them, understanding where they're at. Do you do like a super summary before you leave the meeting? So I've got to, how do you finish that first meeting?
It'd be probably along the lines of, once you've gone through it all, just to, I mean, what we probably know, Michael, that most people are after 3 or 4 things, which is how are we going to sell it, how much is it going to cost me, what do you think our property's worth, and why you, or who are the personnel, and why you. So you might just go through that and say, all right, so just to recap, what we're looking for is you're interested in an idea of value, and again, write it down. Costs, method of sale, you want a private sale, or you want an off-market, or you're saying that you're happy to take our advice on board. So it's really just regurgitating what you've already talked about, but you summarise it into maybe four items.
Yeah, 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
And then you cover off when we come back, when we pop back in 2 days' time, we'll be able to walk through those in a lot of detail.
And if we can get the commercials right, is there any reason why you wouldn't be happy to list with Marshall White and myself?
Yeah, fantastic.
Just to trial close and see what they say.
I really like the way you said that. If we can get the commercials right, any reason why you wouldn't go ahead and make it happen with us?
Yep. Makes sense.
Outstanding.
Good.
Look, thanks so much for your input to this. I guess what you do, you'd start that next meeting with what you've covered off on. So you'd do like a summary again of what we talked about in the last meeting.
Yep.
These are the points we're going to go through. And of course, if you're ready to put me to work straight away,
We've got everything here ready to go. Maybe just summarise at the start of the meeting, have you given any, or have any other questions or queries arisen since we met yesterday or last week that we can add into the agenda?
Yeah, anything change, anything you wanted to top into it?
Any update?
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Hey, Kaine, thanks so much for that. Great rapport building strategies and great uncovering strategies as well. It really does give you a competitive edge to be able to go back and present in an effective way.
One of the things, if I can close on that, which I was going to say a little bit earlier, but we got sidetracked, was I think it's really important as you walk through the home and they are showing you all of the rooms, that pick up on key items, like there might be a photograph of their son or daughter at a certain school, and if you went to that school, then you can again go off on a different tangent and say, hey, I attended that school and it was the best years of my life.
Great. So looking for commonality coming through there.
Art, builders, architects, fixtures, finishes that you might have put in your home, or you sold a home that was similar. And just look, I mean, there are so many things, if you keep your eyes open and keep your ears open, that you can bring into the conversation over a 5, 10, 15, 50-minute walk through a home.
Absolutely.
That by the time you get to that table, there may not be actually much more to talk about, because you've actually gone left, right and centre. You've got friends in common, or you've worked out where they work and that you ride with their friend or their boss or what have you. And it's not hard. It's even though we're a big city, we're a small town.
Yeah, fantastic. I think the other thing that you're alluding to there is a little bit of flexibility. You know, if you're dealing with a young professional couple, an experienced buyer and seller, an elderly couple who may not have transacted for the last 20, 30 years, really starting to pace to their energy and where they're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, Kaine.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.